it gets back to what Rich Cooper talks about when he says, women don't care about your struggles. They wait at the finish line and they bang the winners. As I said before, I halfway agree with that. Yes, women would like that. And a very select elite few of women, usually predatory women, can actually do that. However, the vast majority of women have to make a bet. And when they're in their 18 to 28 years old, when they're in their hoe phase and their peak sexual agency, they have to be able to take some of that agency and put it on a guy, take that, because it's capital, right? It's sexual capital. There, women's sexual agency is like capital. It's like a currency. And they have to say, this guy is going to be a winner. This is the reason why a guy with ambition and confidence and drive and competency and who seems arrogant, maybe he's a jerk a little bit, he's more self-important. That guy looks like he's a better bet than the guy who's like very supplicating and very clingy and very kiss-assy and very male feministy, I guess. And the reason why the guy with those quote unquote dark triad traits, and I'm going to do a full show on dark triad traits soon. The reason why that guy's attractive is because he seems like a good bet. He seems like in the future, when he gets to about 30, 35, somewhere around there, that he's going to make partner in the law firm. He's going to have a business. He's going to be done with his residency and he's going to be a surgeon, whatever it is. This guy, he's good looking. He's fun. I know he's going to be good. And this guy is in no way, when he gets to be at his peak level and he's hitting his stride, he's not going to be wanting a girl like me, because by that time I'll be in my 30s and he'll be looking for a girl who's 23. Women on some level of consciousness, at least the ones with a capacity for some insight, realize that. And so they will take that sexual agency and they will bet it on that guy who has potential. And then hopefully they bet on a good horse and he becomes the winner. And when she's with him, the girls who are waiting at the finish line to fuck him at the finish line, oh, no, ladies, he's been with me. I've got some investment in this one. I've been with this guy since when he had nothing, and now he's something. I said this, and I might as well say this right now because I talked about this on Adam Sosnick's show, because people are asking me about Gary V. You know who Gary V is? You probably know who Gary V is. Vaynerchuk or Vanner something. I can't remember pronounce it. I know he just goes by Gary V. Gary V had jack shit. And he will say, I had jack shit when he was in his 20s. And he married his wife back then. Probably, if you look at Gary, in all likelihood, Gary probably didn't turn it out very much with the women. And got married, and probably as a result of exactly what I was just saying, because he seemed like he was a good bet, right? Maybe he looks like he's going to be a winner at some point. I know he's not that good looking or whatever. And maybe like women, at the smart ones anyways, will see a guy and say, you know what, I'm going to attach my cart to this horse, and hopefully we're going to go somewhere later in the future. And women get very upset at the idea of a trophy wife, because that trophy wife is the winner is the girl that's waiting for the winner to cross the finish line. And he's already got a wife in tow. And when he crosses that finish line and he's a success and he's worth $200 million, whatever Gary V is worth, then the greatest fear is a loss of investment, because what that woman has done is she has taken that sexual capital that she had between, say, 18 and 28, invested it into a guy like Gary V. Now, Gary is now 46, somewhere in mid 40s. And now he dumps her to get with the supermodel, to get with the girl who would never give him the time of day if he wasn't worth $200 million. If it's the same thing with Bezos, it's the same thing with anybody who's got a lot of money. Elon Musk, great example right there. So you've got Gary V, who's getting with this chick, and she's a hammer, man. That chick is freaking hot, man. But she would never, and she's 36 years old, and I know Torsia was talking about her not too long ago, and she's a piece of ass. I said as much on Sosnick's show, but she represents something that all women fear, the trophy wife. And what women fear is a loss of investments. It's opportunity cost. She could have put her money into another guy who wasn't going to maybe not be as successful as Gary V, but he would have been successful and he would have been faithful. Now you've got her and him, he's dragging her across the finish line, or she's, thinks she's, all tight with him. He's never put a picture of her up on his Instagram. We talked about that. Yes. And now suddenly he's with this hot piece of ass, and she's in every one of his Instagram shots. And now suddenly we find out that they're getting divorced. And by the way, it was the wife that initiated the divorce. In this instance, I don't really think it matters too much one way or the other, because if the guy's worth $200 million, and he's getting with a supermodel or whatever she is to him, I don't know. But if that's the case, then it doesn't really matter who's filing for divorce. Somebody's going to file for divorce. It's probably going to be her, and she's probably going to look like she is like the hero in all of this. And women are going to go, I always feared that. I always thought, these guys, Gary Vee, and they're really not as positive as they say. And I think Gary Vee's reputation is going to take a hit, but not a big one, because people want to see that winning. They want to see him winning. They want to believe that the average schmuck that looks like Gary Vee, who probably never got much of anything, didn't get any ass when he was in his 20s. Now he's in his 40s, and he gets with this chick, who is, by the way, is 36, but and a very motivated 36. But that girl in no way would have taken the chance to invest her prime sexual market value years in a guy like Gary Vee when Gary Vee had nothing. And that's really sort of the long and short of all that. So when we talk about like trophy wives, it's the existential fear of women, right? Having that investment taken away, because what they're doing is they're investing, or they're compromising their sexual selection as a result of wanting to put their bet on a guy who's going to be a winner. They hope is going to be a winner. And he's like, Gary Vee is just the most easiest, obvious illustration of this. There's the guys who women get with when they're in their 20s, and the guy is, he's okay looking, but they're hoping that he's going to be a success in the future because he's going to be a surgeon, or he's going to make partner in the law firm, or he's going to be making more money in the future. And he might not be all that right now, and I make more money than him, but once he makes partner in the law firm, then we're going to be millionaires. And when they get to that point, that's the greatest fear women have, is the loss of that investment, because now they can't go backwards. They can't go back and get that sexual capital that they lost back when they were 23, at 33, or at 43, when he meets this hot secretary and he wants to bang her and dump the chick who was with him all the time and supported him. And that's really tough on women. So.